There's a quiet moment many women recognize, especially after the age of 60. It often happens late at night or in the early hours of the morning, when the house is finally still and the world feels calm, yet something inside you refuses to settle. Your body feels tired, but your mind keeps moving. Your chest feels slightly tight, your thoughts won't slow down, and even though nothing is actually wrong, something doesn't feel right either. It's not panic and it's not fear. It's a subtle restlessness that's hard to explain, but impossible to ignore. You may notice it when you lie down to rest but can't fully relax, or when you wake up already feeling tense, as if your body never truly powered down. Some women describe it as a quiet inner buzzing. Others say it feels like a constant low-level alert, as if their body is always waiting for something. And the most confusing part is that life itself seems fine. There's no emergency, no clear reason for this discomfort, just a lingering sense that something inside you is off. For many women over 60, this becomes so familiar that they begin to accept it as normal. They tell themselves it's just part of aging, or that they're simply becoming more sensitive. Some even start to believe they're overreacting or imagining things. But the truth is, this feeling isn't weakness and it isn't something you should ignore. It's your body communicating in the only way it knows how. Because as we age, our bodies change the way they respond to stress, rest, and even calm moments. What once felt like relaxation may now feel slightly unsettled. What once soothed you may no longer be enough. And what often gets labeled as anxiety is, in many cases, your body quietly asking for support, balance, and nourishment in a new way. If any part of this feels familiar, you're not alone. Your body is simply trying to communicate with you, and understanding that message can change everything. If this resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, because what we're about to talk about may finally help her understand what your body has been trying to say all along. What many women don't realize is that this uneasy feeling they carry isn't coming from their thoughts at all. It's not a personality trait, and it's not something they developed emotionally over time. In many cases, it's something far more physical and far more fixable than anyone ever explained to them. As we move past 60, the body begins to change the way it uses key nutrients that regulate calm, focus, and emotional balance. The nervous system becomes more sensitive. The signals between the brain and the body don't move as smoothly as they once did. And when that communication weakens, the body often responds with tension, restlessness, or that constant feeling of being slightly on edge. What's frustrating is that this shift often gets mislabeled as anxiety or stress, when in reality, the body is simply missing the support it needs to regulate itself. It's not a character flaw. It's not something you caused. And it's certainly not a sign that something is wrong with you. In fact, many women who feel this way are doing everything they've been told is right, eating carefully, staying active, trying to rest, yet still feel unsettled inside. That's because after a certain age, the body doesn't respond the same way it once did. It requires different signals, different nourishment, and gentler forms of support. This is where the misunderstanding begins. The discomfort you feel isn't random, and it isn't permanent. It's your body quietly asking for something specific, not medication, not force, but the right kind of support at the right time. Once you understand that this feeling isn't a flaw or a failure, something quietly begins to shift inside you. The tension softens. The self-blame fades. And for the first time in a while, your body doesn't feel like an enemy. It feels like it's asking to be listened to. This is where many women feel a sense of relief. Because when you realize that your body isn't malfunctioning, but simply responding to changes that come with time, everything starts to make more sense. That constant restlessness, the tight chest, the uneasy energy, they're not random. They're signals. And signals can be understood. It's communicating in the only language it has left. After 60, your system becomes more sensitive to what it receives: nutrients, rest, hydration, rhythm. Small imbalances can feel bigger, not because you're weaker, but because your body is asking for a different kind of care than it once did. This is actually good news, because it means the solution isn't extreme. It doesn't require drastic measures or complicated routines. Often, it begins with something very gentle, something that helps your nervous system exhale instead of staying on high alert. When the body receives the right kind of support, it doesn't just calm down. It remembers how to feel safe again. Muscles soften, breathing deepens, thoughts slow naturally, and that constant background tension begins to loosen its grip. This is the moment where many women start to feel hope again. Not because everything is fixed, but because they finally understand what their body has been trying to say all along. As the nervous system ages, it becomes more sensitive to stimulation. Sounds feel louder, thoughts linger longer, and the body stays in a subtle state of alert, even when everything around is quiet. That's why calming the body isn't about shutting it down, but about giving it the right signals to soften. This is where a simple, nourishing drink can make a meaningful difference. One of the most supportive options for this stage of life is warm oat milk, especially when consumed in the evening. Oats naturally contain compounds that help stabilize blood sugar and support the production of calming neurotransmitters. When warmed, oat milk sends a gentle signal of comfort and safety to the nervous system, similar to the way the body responds to warmth and routine. For many women, this warmth alone creates a subtle shift. The shoulders drop, the breath slows, the constant internal alertness begins to ease. That's because oat-based drinks are rich in magnesium and complex carbohydrates that help the brain produce serotonin and melatonin, two key messengers involved in relaxation and sleep readiness. Unlike stimulants or sedatives, this isn't about forcing the body into rest. It's about giving it the conditions it needs to naturally unwind. Over time, this small ritual can teach the nervous system that it's safe to let go at the end of the day. Many women describe it as a quiet moment of grounding, a pause where the body finally feels supported instead of rushed. And often, that sense of calm begins not in the mind but in the body itself. If this resonates with you, share in the comments whether evenings tend to be the hardest part of your day. Oats contain natural compounds that help stabilize blood sugar levels, preventing the sudden drops that can trigger nervousness or nighttime waking. When blood sugar stays steady, the brain doesn't go into alert mode, and the body feels safer and more grounded. Oats are also a gentle source of magnesium and B vitamins, both essential for the nervous system. Magnesium helps muscles relax and supports the body's natural calming response, while B vitamins play a key role in producing neurotransmitters linked to emotional balance. As these nutrients are absorbed, the body begins to shift out of fight or flight and into a calmer, more regulated state. For women over 60, this is especially important. Hormonal changes can make the nervous system more reactive, meaning small stresses feel bigger than they used to. Supporting the body with gentle, nourishing ingredients helps restore that internal sense of steadiness. What makes this approach so effective is that it works with the body rather than against it. There's no forcing, no suppression, just quiet support. Over time, many women notice they feel less on edge, their sleep feels deeper, and their evenings become more peaceful. It's not about instant transformation. It's about creating a steady foundation where the body feels safe enough to relax again. While the first drink helps your body begin to unwind, the second one works at a deeper level, supporting the systems that keep your emotions steady throughout the entire day. This is the kind of support that doesn't just help you relax in the evening, but helps your body feel more balanced from the inside out. This second drink is warm almond milk, gently prepared and taken at a calm moment in the day, often in the late afternoon or early evening. What makes almond milk especially powerful for women over 60 is the way it supports both the nervous system and the body's natural energy balance. Almonds are naturally rich in magnesium, a mineral that plays a crucial role in calming the nervous system and easing muscle tension. As we age, magnesium levels tend to decline, which can lead to restlessness, tight muscles, and that familiar sense of internal agitation. Reintroducing it in a gentle, digestible form allows the body to slowly restore balance. In addition to magnesium, almond milk provides healthy fats that help stabilize blood sugar. This matters more than many people realize. When blood sugar drops too quickly, the body releases stress hormones that can create feelings of anxiety, shakiness, or mental fog. By keeping blood sugar steady, this drink helps prevent those emotional spikes before they start. What many women notice after incorporating this drink is a subtle but meaningful shift. The body feels more grounded. The mind feels less reactive. There's a sense of emotional steadiness that wasn't there before. It doesn't feel like sedation, it feels like balance returning. Another benefit is how gentle it is on digestion. Unlike heavier foods or stimulants, warm almond milk is easy on the stomach and doesn't disrupt sleep cycles. Instead, it supports the natural rhythm of the evening, helping the body transition into rest more smoothly. Over time, this simple habit becomes more than a drink. It becomes a signal to the nervous system that it's safe to slow down, that the day is ending, and that the body can finally release the tension it's been holding onto. What makes this second drink so effective isn't just what it contains. It's how deeply it works with the female body as it ages. After 60, the nervous system becomes more sensitive, and the body's ability to recover from stress slows down. What once felt like a small tension can now linger for hours, even days. That's why support at this level matters so much. This drink works by nourishing the body on multiple levels at once. The magnesium and healthy fats help calm overactive nerves, while also supporting muscle relaxation and smoother nerve communication. Instead of pushing the body to calm down, it gently guides it back toward balance. That difference is important, especially for women who feel overwhelmed easily, or who notice their body reacting more strongly to everyday stress. Another reason this drink is so powerful is that it helps regulate the stress response over time. When the body constantly feels on edge, it releases stress hormones more frequently. This can lead to fatigue, emotional sensitivity, and that familiar sense of being drained. By supporting the nervous system daily, this simple habit helps interrupt that cycle and brings the body back into a steadier rhythm. Many women notice that after a few days or weeks, they don't just feel calmer in the evening, they feel more emotionally balanced throughout the day. Small things don't trigger the same reactions. Their thoughts feel clearer. Their bodies feel steadier. And that's the real shift. Not a sudden change, but a quiet return to feeling like yourself again. If you are enjoying the explanation, take a moment to like this video. It helps this message reach other women who may be feeling the same way, and reminds you that you're not alone in this experience. Before moving forward, it's important to pause and share a real story. Not because it's dramatic or extraordinary, but because it reflects something deeply familiar to many women at this stage of life. Sometimes, it's through someone else's experience that we finally recognize our own. Margaret was 72 when she began to notice a quiet shift inside herself. Nothing sudden, nothing alarming, just a subtle sense that something wasn't quite right anymore. Her days looked normal from the outside. She kept her routines, stayed active, and did everything she thought she was supposed to do. Yet beneath the surface, there was a constant feeling of unease she couldn't fully explain. It wasn't anxiety in the way people usually describe it. There were no racing thoughts or moments of panic. Instead, it was a low-level tension that followed her throughout the day. Her body always seemed slightly on edge, as if it was waiting for something to happen. Even during calm moments, she felt restless. Her shoulders stayed tense. Her breath felt shallow. And when night came, rest didn't bring the relief she expected. Sleep became lighter and less restorative. She would wake up feeling as though her body had never truly powered down. Mornings felt heavy, not just physically but emotionally. She told herself this was just part of aging, that this was what growing older felt like. Still, a quiet part of her wondered if there was more to it. Over time, Margaret began paying closer attention to her body. She noticed how certain moments felt more grounding than others. Warmth helped. Stillness helped. Simple routines brought more comfort than distraction ever had. Slowly, she started making small changes, nothing drastic, nothing extreme. She focused on creating moments in her day that encouraged calm, rather than stimulation. One of those changes was introducing a warm, nourishing evening drink meant to support her nervous system instead of pushing it to perform. She didn't expect immediate results. In fact, at first she barely noticed a difference. But over the following days, something subtle began to shift. Her shoulders no longer stayed tense through the evening. Her breathing slowed naturally without effort. That familiar sense of being on edge softened. It wasn't dramatic, just a quiet easing of tension that she hadn't felt in years. For the first time in a long while, her body felt like it was working with her instead of against her. As the days passed, that sense of calm began to carry into other parts of her life. She found herself responding more gently to small stresses. Her sleep felt deeper and more restorative. Mornings became a little easier. The constant undercurrent of restlessness slowly faded into the background. What surprised her most was how natural the change felt. There was no forcing, no discipline, no feeling of fixing something broken. It was simply her body responding to care and consistency. A reminder that sometimes, healing isn't about doing more. It's about listening better. For Margaret, This shift wasn't dramatic or miraculous. It was quiet, subtle, real. And that's what made it so powerful. Because for the first time in a long time, she felt like her body was finally on her side again. And for many women watching this, that sense of calm, that feeling of being at ease within yourself, is exactly what the body has been asking for all along. As all of this begins to come together, something important starts to happen inside. Not a sudden breakthrough, not a dramatic shift, but a quiet realization. A sense that maybe what you've been feeling all along wasn't something to fight or fix, but something to understand. When you look back at the tension, the restlessness, the constant feeling that something was off, it starts to make sense. Your body wasn't failing you. It wasn't becoming weak or unreliable. It was responding the only way it knew how to years of change, stress, and unmet needs. For so long, many women have been taught to push through discomfort, to stay productive, to stay strong, to ignore the signals their bodies were sending. But over time, those signals don't disappear. They simply become louder, more persistent, harder to ignore. What often brings the greatest sense of relief is the realization that nothing was wrong with you. Your body was asking for support, not discipline, for gentleness, not pressure. And once that understanding settles in, something shifts internally. The tension eases. The self-blame softens. You begin to listen differently. This is where real balance begins. Not with control, but with awareness. When you stop fighting your body and start working with it, even small changes can feel profoundly stabilizing. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts feel less scattered. Your days begin to feel more manageable. Not because everything has changed, but because your relationship with your body has. Many women describe this moment as a quiet turning point. Nothing dramatic on the outside, yet deeply meaningful on the inside. A sense of reassurance settles in, the understanding that they are not broken, not weak, and not alone in what they're experiencing. And perhaps most importantly, this realization brings back a feeling of trust. Trust in your body. Trust in your ability to listen. Trust that calm is not something you have to chase, but something that can return when you give your body what it truly needs. For so long, many women have been taught to push through discomfort, to silence their bodies, to keep going no matter how they feel. But real well-being doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from learning to listen differently. From recognizing that your body isn't working against you. It's asking for support, care, and understanding. The changes we talked about aren't drastic. They're not about strict routines or complicated rules. They're small, gentle adjustments that help your body feel safe again. And when the body feels safe, everything else begins to soften. Your breath, your thoughts, your sleep, even the way you move through your day. If there's one thing to take with you from this, let it be this. You don't have to fight your body to feel better. You don't have to force calm or chase balance. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is slow down enough to listen. If any part of this message resonated with you, know that you're not alone. Many women are walking this same path, learning to reconnect, to trust their bodies again, and to care for themselves with more kindness than pressure. If you'd like to continue this journey together, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here we explore gentle, natural ways to support your body, restore calm, and move through this stage of life with more ease and confidence. See you in the next video.